Right, hello, this is going to be my first video blog post on the professional project, which we're currently going with the working title of Albion for, so that's what I'll be referring to the professional project as for the rest of these blog posts. I'll give you a quick overview first of where we're kind of at since we've got the brief, and yeah, so basically the brief is we need to work on a project in kind of a sort of professional fashion, so sort of more relating to what we want to do post-university and things like that. And for me, that's very much been I want to make movies after uni, basically. So I think that's something I'm going to grasp on in this project, and I'm working with two other like-minded people who have got a real interest in video production and things like that. So yeah, pretty bloody-mindedly, that's what we want to do. So with I think we've got about 3-4 months to do this project, and in that time it's obviously not going to be feasible to do a feature-length, hour-and-a-half long actual movie. So what I want to do is try and look at more modern ways that video production is going with work and stuff. So we're looking at the webisode format, which is short series that people put up on YouTube and things like that, which are generally no more than 10 minutes long or so, and have a fairly high turnover rate. So yeah, you'll regularly get episodes once a week or something like that, because it's such a smaller format, and it's not so mired in kind of production bureaucracy and things like that. So you get to see some really interesting creative content that way. So yeah, that being said, sort of the themes of the piece we're looking at is want to do a kind of a webisode pilot for kind of that lives in the is in the post-apocalyptic genre, which is something that I've always been really interested in and wanting to have a go at writing a story about. That whole sort of aesthetic of sort of man against nature, that sort of survival, and the compromisation of humanity, and what everything that we've built up as a species and kind of culturally and sort of technologically having to start afresh. So values staying similar, but how do those values kind of react to to being put into a very new world, new world order essentially. So yeah, that being said, we sort of looked at what we could do to kind of maybe warp the genre slightly and do something that's slightly different for us, and to keep it interesting, really. So we thought about what sort of things like the genre, what sort of our own experiences like with viewing the genre and stuff like that, and that's through things like Cormac McCarthy's The Road and John Hillcoat's movie adaptation thereof, things like Mad Max and stuff like that, and more recently one that's probably going to be a really big influence for me on this project is the video game series Fallout, which is kind of aesthetic of which is it's very America-centric, kind of post-nuclear disaster video game, which kind of focuses on very sort of 1950s America aesthetic. So kind of musically it's things like stuff from Anything Goes, the musical and stuff like that. Just really nice kind of old old visual aesthetics, kind of Casablanca-y standard fancy stuff. And yeah, pause that for us. Yeah, so we thought, after sort of looking at it, the big thing was, as with most sort of feature film media and stuff like that and series, it's all very America-centric, because that's where most of the industry lies at the moment. So we thought the key themes of most post-apocalyptic narratives is it's man versus nature, and kind of the survival of cultural things and stuff like that, and how they adapt to these new circumstances. So we thought about, well, what do we know? We're everyone in the team. We were all British, and that we thought, culturally speaking, Britain has a lot to offer, and we have a lot of kind of little idiosyncrasies and things like that that make us very kind of interesting as a nation. And I thought, well, that would be something really great to work with in terms of a narrative, and especially a visual aesthetic and things like that, because we've got so much myth and kind of legend and stuff, and a really rich history, and that's something I sort of really wanted to riff on with this narrative. So that being said, yeah, so essentially, to kind of summarise, what we're going to be doing is a 10-minute long webisode pilot episode, first pilot for a post-apocalyptic Britain-centric TV series, really focusing on that Middle England, very kind of nice aesthetic of like we're morphing together Victorian aesthetics with Celtic things and old legend and stuff like that. Because another thing that we've always been really interested in, like most of us as the group, been monster movies and stuff like that. We just think it's a load of fun to do and things, and that's something that you can really warp into the post-apocalyptic genre quite easily, because there's already a certain amount of suspension of disbelief there. So yeah, I'll be doing a next blog post will be covering kind of how we're going to do it and stuff like that, preparing for putting the script together, and what we want from the project and things like, what I personally want from the project. I'm sure you can see on the other Declan and Alex's blogs what their kind of opinions are on things, but okay.